Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing today? And we are going to be talking about Necropolis. Now I have been getting an absolute boatload of questions, some of whom I do know the answers to, some of whom I do not. And that said, I'll do my best to tell you guys what I know. Obviously I'm not in CCP. If I was, I wouldn't be able to disclose everything anyways, but there are a lot of things that we do know that people have kind of missed. Starting with the fact that Necropolis will have 6 paths to clear. Six. There we go. Six fingers. 6 paths. That was actually mentioned in the video presentation that we know. So it is going to have to be at the very least 6 runs that we do. 6 times we're gonna need to kill the final nameless Grandmaster boss. From Kabam designers, I read a post that nameless Grandmaster will be harder than the Grandmaster that we have at end of Act 6. It will be more fair than the Abyss boss, than the Nameless Collector. So it is not going to be as big of a BS fight as that one was in Abyss, but it is also going to be hard and tricky. It is going to be one of those special fights. Right, so what else do we know? You know some of the opponents that we're going to be going up against. You know that there's going to be Diablo, Airwalker, Hitmonkey, Vision Arcus, Mr. Fantastic, Atuma, Titania, Sauron. That's a bit wrong. And here we can see some of the health pools. We have seen basically health pools varying from just under 7 million to basically about 8 million. So the health pools are going to be big. They're not going to be insanely big, but it is quite impossible to say exactly how long the fights will be based on whether we get any damage modifier increases, whether there are nodes that help us deal damage. Obviously, whether there are any, cheese mechanics available in some cases, as well as the fact whether there is the opposite, some damage reduction mechanics, whether, and also how long can we actually fight. Because we do know that the node dynamic mechanic is based on the challenger rating. So 7 stars will be highly encouraged because 7-star challenger rating is massively larger than the 6 stars because they effectively skipped a class. Maxed out 6-star has 150 challenger rating, which means 2.5 minutes plus whatever extra you gain activating relics. A rank 1 7-star has 3.5 minutes basically, or 3 minutes and 20 seconds at its base, plus whatever you gain from relics. And the rank 2 7-stars have 3.5 minutes. So it is a significant difference in the fight duration, let alone obviously the 7-stars have more base damage to begin with. So 7-stars will be quite important, as well as relics themselves. And this is one thing that a lot of people are kind of unaware of. The majority reason why you want higher star rank relics, higher star for sure, I'm not entirely sure of rank, is the fact that they fill up quicker their spirit meter. That is to say that a 6-star relic effectively fills up pretty much twice as fast as a 3-star one does. And then obviously 4 stars and 5 stars are in between. So the higher rarity relic you have, the quicker you fill it up, the quicker you can use it. With that in mind, for Necropolis, it will be important to effectively use not necessarily the best perfect relic for your champion, just the highest star relic, so you can activate it as much as possible, so you can fight longer and die less now. Right, so that is going to be quite crucial as well. What else we know? There will be trap nodes. We will have some control over which trap nodes we trigger when and as we plan the paths. It is still, not entirely clear. We have seen some sketchups of the paths themselves, but it is still not entirely clear how exactly we're going to have to plan it. But these trap nodes will be significant and will require a lot of attention. It will not be just some random little node. Like, while the defender's attack is against the wall, the attacker takes 25% of the defender's base attack as direct damage when they strike the defender with contact attacks. So this is a rough node. You will either need to play very slowly and passively and make sure you never hit the defender at the wall, which will slow you down, which will make you do a lot less damage than you otherwise would, because any aggressive fight, you pretty much always have the defender up against the wall, or you're going to have to use a champion with non-contact attacks, which is, again, very, very important. I do not know whether these nodes are subject to ability accuracy reduction, which also will be quite an important point, whether champions like Falcon or Archangel can bypass. I hope they are, but we'll see about that. Trap nodes are definitely going to be a big deal of these fights. And we also have these necrotic boon nodes that are going to be champion specific, going to be effectively what we have gotten used to as extra abilities to the champions. In past, this has been more so incorporated, in some Labyrinth of Legends champions or Abyss champions. They just had different abilities. I think this time around, they're just putting on an extra node, and that's it. But those are the two types of nodes that we will need to be aware of, besides, obviously, the Global Abyss nodes. So we're going to have the trap nodes that we need to avoid, and we are going to have these additional champion ability nodes. Right. Here we can see some more, but I wanted to get to the rewards bit as well that we can see. I do not know which crystal is this, though. I'm very interested in that crystal specifically. So completion rewards, here we can see, but this screenshot actually tells us a bit more. Not only we know that Nameless Guillotine piece is going to be in the completion reward, so if you do want to get that Nameless champion, you will have to do it at the very least a completion run. 10k Titan Shards, 1 6-star relic, 2 crystals that I really want to know what they are. Could it be? I don't know. What are those? But there's also the rank 2 to 3 gem, obviously a generic 1 to 2 gem in completion rewards. But I think one more very important thing that we can see there is that the path rewards effectively are a 4 to 5 gem. Therefore, I think we're probably going to see the same thing on every path, which means we will get 6-star rank 4 to 5 gems. And yes, the game is moving on to 7 stars, however, we're not there yet, and I think those are going to be extremely useful to rank 5 a whole bunch more champions. Right? Absolutely right. And obviously, in total, we're going to get 2 7-star rank 2 to 3 gems. Completion 1 is going to be a random class 1, and then a generic 1 for exploration. This is going to be the banner of Necropolis, and it is an extremely exciting preview. Judging by the fights and the way they are being done, there are obvious ideas of which champions potentially could work better. However, we can't really know that for sure. Obviously, if they are using Baron Zemo, then it's likely that he will do well against Mr. Fantastic, as he, pretty much should. Get your bleeds going, so it is quite possible that the Baron Zemo might play a relatively significant role, especially because one thing that, I think people underestimate about Baron Zemo in the really, really long fights is that deaccelerate and disorient, so you could possibly also shut down some of those extra nodes and abilities in longer fights, which should be exceedingly helpful for Baron Zemo to do well. Additionally, obviously, we saw champions like, one second, here's a challenger rating screenshot. I'm going to explain that node as well in a second. We saw champions that we will have there, and they also included Atuma. And against Atuma, obviously, there aren't that many great counters to begin with. So it is, again, highly likely that Shuri, for instance, could be very important. Can have Vision Arcus, so obviously we're going to have to keep an eye on the cold snap damage. So these will be fights that require specific counters, because these aren't going to be a vanilla defenders by the looks of it. I have not seen a single champion that does not have a significant defensive threat on their own, if that makes sense. I haven't seen a single champion like, a Ghost Rider that we have in Abyss. In Abyss, we still have Obsidian, Aegon, something like that. Those are effectively punching bags, right? And they just have a lot of health pools. And then if there's an extra node, might help or hurt. So this content seems to be designed with a bit more teeth. Same thing in Labyrinth. In Labyrinth, we have like Electras and Miss Marvels and whatnot. These champions that are, again, just punching bags. I haven't seen a single champion like that in Necropolis. So that leads me to believe that the level of difficulty is going to be significantly increased. Last thing that I fully wanted to explain is the Ankh of Necropolis node. And this is the global dynamic. Effectively says that whatever is your challenger rating translates to 1 second in the fight time. Every single second, one of your charges will tick away based on the champion that you bring in is the amount of the charge that you start with. If you bring in a 7-star rank 1 champion, you will get 200 charges. Additional important, obviously, we're just going to read this now out. The defender loses a vengeance charge every second. The timer is paused during either champion's special attacks, which is super important as well if you bring in special spammy champion, or while striker is attacking. Each time a striker is activated by the attacker, the defender gains 6 vengeance charges. The defender's ability accuracy cannot be decreased below 50% unless attacker has class advantage. This is also crucial, so here we already know that it is going to be tough to do the whole Archangel thing or, fully utilize Disorient in some of these matches as well, unless you have class advantage. While the defender has half of their starting vengeance charges or less, they gain 200% attack rating and their ability accuracy cannot be decreased unless the attacker has class advantage. And the attacker is passively rooted during the defender's special attacks. So this is already going to be much, much, much harder. Oh my god, I'm sorry about the sun. I need to get thicker curtains. And the final bit is, while the defender has 0 vengeance charges, they are stun immune to all forms of power manipulation, passively unblockable, and gain 15% of power every second while the attacker is not within striking distance. So you do not necessarily automatically die because they don't go unstoppable, but it will be difficult to hang on there. So that is the new be dead now. We do have damage cap, and the damage cap is going to be around 100k. I believe it's like 1.5% of their total health. So the damage cap is going to be a major thing. On the bright side, however, there are no BS 1% random away node this time around. Right, all that being said, here's going to be a little bit of a summary text for the things that we know. 6 paths, Nameless Grandmaster Boss, 7 to 8 million HP, Dynamo mechanic based on challenger rating. Relics will be vital, high star ones especially, because you can trigger those more often. Trap nodes are going to be quite nasty and will need to be planned around. Necrotic Boon extra nodes will give the defenders additional abilities. Maestro will also be a part of an exploration reward, I forgot to mention that. 6-star 4 to 5 gems in path rewards in total would be my guess. 2 rank 3 gems for exploring it in total. 1 in completion rewards, random class 1, 1 generic one, and nameless gilly piece in completion. So this is about the extent of this as I can answer. I think in total every path you will need to take 16 fights, 12 or 16 plus boss. Do not hold me to that one. I believe when I counted it was around 16. It was either 12 or 16. Quite sure it's 16. Anyways. And it's 6 parts. Let me know what you guys think. Are you hyped? I know I am, and I for sure will be jumping in it straight away. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information